I run a company called AI Risk. What we do is help companies design, build and deploy advanced forms of agentic AI for competitive advantage. And my talk today, I'm going to explain what agentic AI is, why it's so important and powerful and unprecedented, and thirdly, how you can harness it to beat your rivals and to deliver greater value to your customers. And to help people understand a bit more about the different nuances of agentic AI, we created this maturity model recently, which people find quite useful. The key thing to note is that virtually no company yet is in the purple zone. And I'm going to share with you an example of level 4 agentic team, which my colleagues deployed nearly 2 years ago now. And from my point of view, it's the most advanced example of agentic AI applied in any commercial setting worldwide. So before we get on to the details of agentic AI, let's just be really clear about how it's different from generative AI. And often people talk about agents, but what they're really talking about is generative AI. And as you know, generative AI generates content. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer, but then you do the work. Now, agentic AI is rather different. It does the work for you. So AI agents are a bit like human workers, a bit like you and me. They undertake tasks, they have agency, they have job descriptions, they have behavioral traits, they have access to data. They are able to break down tasks into a process for resolving them. They have access to systems, internal and external to the organization, so they can take action. And crucially, they have memory, so they learn incredibly fast on the job. And when we've done deployments over the last 2 years, we've demonstrated that if you design them right, and that is a big if you manage them carefully, they can be significantly better, significantly faster, and significantly cheaper than human labor, even on highly complex tasks. It's about doing not only things faster, but doing much more because you have that new operational capacity. Those workers who are made of software that can be replicated for near zero marginal cost. What's happening is that we're turning labor into capital, and the capital is creating output. That's a fundamental change to the economics of business. And if we create our own agents, our own digital workforce that we control, then we're creating intelligence that in the past we always had to rely on humans. It was always trapped in the knowledge in your heads that could leave the door. Or potentially it was trapped in IT vendors who were doing a lot of the tasks for you, but they owned all the value from that. This gives us the ability to create differentiating intelligence and to create a strategic asset that appreciates in value, not a cost that depreciates when you invest in normal technology. So when you speak to your boss or your board or your shareholders about how you're going to grow, they might ask you this. Are you going to grow in the way that you've always grown in the past, the traditional way where you generate profit, that profit gets reinvested in hiring more people, but you know that takes a bit of time to find those people, and then we've got to train them and onboard them, then we deploy them, and then those smart people like you and everybody else here, we're delivering value to the company, but that's taking quite a lot of time. I'm suggesting maybe what happens if your competitor does this. It takes some of that profit, it invests in some humans, but maybe it creates the agentic systems that allows you to deliver value to your customers much quicker, much better, much faster, more cheaply, you have a price advantage, and allows you to unlock those parts of the market that in the past we daren't touch because they were economically unviable. This is not an IT project. This is a strategic transformation of your fundamental business model. Thank you very much.